Growing Livelihoods is a new initiative which aims to create opportunities in smaller scale food growing for young people, those new to the sector or existing growers that want to try a new approach. It's a collaboration between the Carnegie UK Trust, the Plunket Foundation and the Land Settlement Association Charitable Trust. We want to work with people and organisations to create skilled jobs through the use of cooperation and innovation that provide viable livelihoods. We are proud that this partnership is based on an 80-year shared history through the Land Settlement Association.
The Land Settlement Association was set up in the 30s as a way of helping unemployed people in heavy industry, mining, shipbuilding, to find a new career in horticulture on the land. It involved setting up small holdings, about 1,100 of them, organised into 21 estates, which were run as cooperatives.
And then it changed after the war with a focus on feeding the country, got more people with a trained agricultural background. So during that period up until the 70s and 80s, it was really showcased some fantastic innovations in horticulture. So it introduced growing under cloches, it introduced new products like cherry tomatoes, little lettuces, bag salads. And so it was all about innovative growing on small plots of land.
I left school initially about 14.5 years of age. There was a vacancy came at the propagating department, which the LSA run on the estate. So I applied for that and I got the job. And we used to grow tomato plants, any plants what the other growers wanted. This holding we're on now came vacant, and so I applied for it and I got it, and we've been here ever since. Well, in that period of time in 82, I think, or 81, there was a report on the farming programme. They're closing it down. Well, I couldn't believe it. But yes, we found out quite quickly. The manager who was here, whether he knew or not, we don't know. But he was a nice chap and he guided us through the transitional period. It came through quite good, and then we formed our own cooperative among our growers and we acquired the back house and we went on from there.
I think one of the most important things is that it provided people who wanted to come into the industry with a foot on the bottom rung to enable them to develop a career in horticulture. And that continues to be our interest now.
I think what you see in the UK is that agriculture is facing some significant challenges, and what you're seeing is a polarisation between the small and the large growers. What is very clear is that smaller scale businesses have to do things very, very differently. And what we're seeing is there's significant untapped potential for cooperation, for people to work together to actually secure decent livelihoods. And what we're trying to do is to find out what works, to showcase them, to help others to set up something similar.
FarmStart Manchester is the first incubator farm in the UK. And it's basically supporting people who are interested in going into commercial organic growing and trying to support them in a low risk environment to get into that. So looking at access to land, access to training, to support people to see whether they want to do it and whether they're interested in it, and to help them find their feet and find a market.
The way it works is they pay £400 a year, and that includes rent for the land, a quarter or an eighth of an acre. That includes certification with the Soil Association, training at the various workshops we put on, and access to the facilities we put up, so the shipping container where they can store their staff, and a veg packing area, compost loo, and this year polytunnel as well.
On the plot I'm growing carrots, a run of beans, beetroot, some swede, and we've got a polytunnel, so I'm going to be doing squash and tomatoes. And the idea about that is I'm going to be a supplier to Manchester Veg People, which is a cooperative set up in Manchester to get the supply from the farms, from the land into the city centre, so where people can buy it. It's a small scale at the moment, but I'm hoping in the future I can build on that scale and be a higher supplier.
A strong small-scale food growing sector is important because, well, the easy things to say here are food resilience, food security, but in our area it's also important in terms of livelihoods and community cohesion and also landscape management.
Small-scale growing can link more with the social structure. So there are social benefits of growing locally and supplying local customers. Also, it keeps that money within the local community, so it's good for the economy of local communities.
And to give them the skills that they need to actually make it work. So business skills, marketing skills and growing skills. And I think we can only really do that if we work together.
The cooperative is working and it has to work. If you don't cooperate, you won't get anywhere.
Working to the same goal, we have a shared idea, and working together makes that easier, and we can support each other to do that, to get to where we want to be.
We've got short-term aspirations. Our short-term aspirations is to promote the idea, is to get acceptance that this is a valid and viable thing to do. Over the long term, this could be transformative. We're seeing, such a significant challenge getting people into farming, getting people into horticulture in particular, and we feel this is a really fantastic way of doing it.
I'd like to be doing this to make a living out of it.
Well, I've always liked growing. I wouldn't leave the school fast enough, to be honest. But I've always been interested in growing.